In this video, I want to talk about what is a recession and how does it affect you as a real estate agent? And it may not be the way you think. Hi, I'm Mikesh, and I share proven tools and strategies that I use to grow my real estate business. And if you're getting value from these videos, hit the like and subscribe button, and you'll be updated when I release more great content each and every week. So when we as real estate agents think about recession, we think about, oh man, it's going to be like the total collapse of the real estate market. And primarily, I think it's because, we've been through situations in the past and they felt a certain way. Like I know when the recession of 2006 really had started, and especially 8 to 10, that was a really hard time for real estate agents, and it wiped out about half of the real estate agents. There was short sales, there was foreclosures left and right. But what we're talking about now in the current market conditions, if we go into an actual recession and they actually label it and call it that, I think it's going to look and act very differently than the last downturn in 2008, 9, and 10. And here's why. Housing inventory is still super low. The first reason that a recession is not going to look the same is because housing inventory is still very low. We're still 1.4 million homes below pre-pandemic housing inventory levels. What does that mean? That means there's a shortage of homes. And as new homes come on the market, there's still a high demand. Despite the fact that interest rates have gone up, despite the fact that, we're not as strong of a market as we were, say, a year or 2 years ago, we still have a shortage of homes. And that is going to maintain the values in the housing market and keep this from really turning into something that could be catastrophic or a recession where, everybody gets wiped out. It's not going to be that type of recession. It's going to be a slight contraction, but the housing inventory is keeping things stable and balanced. And because of that low inventory, we can expect even greater appreciation than in previous recessions. So defined recessions, out of the last 4 to 6, housing appreciation still grew by 3.5 to 6.5%. And I believe we're going to see the upper end or even higher than that should we get coined as a real estate recession right now and moving into the future. And right now, millennial demand is driving the market. And that demand for millennials and housing is expected to continue to rise in the future. So we got that shortage, and we're going to expect that that's going to maintain and hold values. And we have increased demand on the horizon from these millennials coming into the housing market for the first time. Now, the thing that started all of this in the first place was about mid last year, coming into the summer of last year, interest rates started to go up. The Fed started to raise interest rates to combat inflation. And that certainly put a damper on people's spirits when it came to buying a home. Imagine that you were out looking at homes today and you could afford one price because of the interest rates. And then while you're out looking at homes, the interest rate changes and now you can afford a house way over here. And it's a night and day different property. That'll really dampen your spirits on wanting to buy a house. However, we've gotten over that speed bump and now we're in this new normal, if you will. And when we look at interest rates and we look over the timeline of history, we're still in a rate environment that's the second lowest in the last 6 decades. So for the last 6 years, only one period of time has had lower interest rates than right now. So still an amazing time to buy a home. And if you know anybody that owned a home, say, 30, 40 years ago, and they got a mortgage on it, ask them what their interest rate was then. It'll really surprise you because right now, interest rates are really low and housing affordability is still there. So I encourage you to get out there and really look at what you can afford because chances are it's not going to get any better than it is now, and rates will continue to rise, as will the prices of homes. So, if you're thinking that, oh man, we're going to go into a recession and houses are going to be on sale, like I remember them being in 2008, 9, and 10, I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, I feel very strongly that that's not going to happen. So don't wait, get out there, look at the new homes that are hitting the market, figure out what you can afford by talking to a good mortgage broker and getting pre-approved, and be ready to make a move because home ownership and home appreciation is one of our greatest hedges against inflation. So when you see the Fed continuing to rise interest rates to combat inflation, if you're not invested in the housing market or you're not invested in the housing market enough, chances are that money that you have on the sidelines or in other investments is not doing as well long term as it would do in real estate. And another reason that I think if we go into a recession is going to look different is when we look at the average homeowner, 2006, 7 leading into 2008, 9, and 10, and that collapse, people had very little to no equity in the homes. They might have even had negative equity. But the average homeowner in America right now has $120,000 of equity in their home. Why is that important? Well, it means that people have this equity in their home, which is going to give them some liquidity if they wanted to sell that home to upgrade, which they will do because life will continue to happen. There'll be reasons why they want to, go to a nicer area, upsize, downsize, what have you. And because they have equity in the property, they'll be able to do that. But it also means that they're not just going to walk away and give up on their home because, it gets a little tight. And that's what we saw that really accelerated the last downturn is people walked away from their homes. They had nothing to lose. They had no equity in them or they had negative equity. And 27% of the homes in the US right now are owned free and clear, meaning there's not a mortgage on them at all. So I think we as a society, we really value home ownership. We value the home, especially coming out of COVID, right? Like our home was all we had. It was our safe haven. It was our sanctuary. So, don't be afraid of the word recession. I think there will be some correction on the horizon, but as a real estate agent, we have to stay informed and we have to not let the news and the media create all this hysteria, but we have to stay rooted in the facts. And there's some great resources out there where you can look up data, from realtor.com and just different financial outlets where you can get really good data on what is the housing market doing and how is it responding to, whatever the economy is doing in our country. So stay informed, be an advocate for real estate and, really help people see that it's not all doom and gloom. There's a lot of benefits right now to buying and owning homes in this market and even into the future, even if we do see a slight correction on the horizon. So if you have any questions about this video or any feedback, put it in the comments below and I'll be sure to respond to it. And maybe, who knows, maybe that'll even create my next new video for you.